Today I have Jacob Villarreal, who worked as a IT systems analyst for a year and then pivoted into systems engineer for a year and a half and has been working as an attack and penetration consultant for 2.5 years now. For education, he has a Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity. Certifications include Certified Red Team Professional, CRTP, OffSec Certified Professional, that's the OSCP, and a CompTIA Security Plus. So Jacob, thank you so much for doing this podcast episode with me. Go ahead and walk through your background and introduce yourself to the audience.
Yeah, hey everybody. So my name's Jacob. Great to be here. First of all, thanks for inviting me over here. I think we're talking about some pretty cool stuff. Kind of going into school, right before I went back, I took a little bit of a break, longer than expected. Didn't know what I wanted to do. Saw some YouTube videos about DEFCON. Sounds like pretty cool stuff. It's kind of how I got introduced to pentesting, offensive security. So I was like, all right, so how do I get into this thing? And online, a lot of the resources were like, well, you need a bachelor's, you need some IT experience, and then maybe you could land that role. So it's kind of the path that I went. I moved back home with my mom, went to the college there, UT San Antonio, graduated my bachelor's in cybersecurity. I did the wrong thing, which is I didn't go into the cyber clubs. I didn't get internships. It was just a whole thing. So from that, I didn't have a lot of opportunities presented to myself. So that's whenever I went to the help desk route. And then that's kind of whenever things started to kick in. I was like, all right, I need to start kicking in my studies. Got the Security Plus. From there, I moved way to the DC area for a job as a system engineer, which is pretty cool. Really great opportunity. Learned a lot of great stuff, and that's kind of where my technical skills grew. While I was there, okay, I was like, all right, what do I need to do next? So I looked online. A lot of resources were like, get the OCP. I was a little bit familiar with it. It was a scary thing to try to take on, but I was like, all right, I got to do it. So spent about 6 months or so studying for it. Failed twice, passed on the third time, and then that was pretty much how I was able to get my foot in the door and then finally get an opportunity at the place that I work now, which is a consulting firm doing pen testing work, which is what I really enjoy now. Been doing it for a while, 2.5 years or so, not crazy amount of time, but a good amount of time. And I'm really enjoying it. So it's a really fun field and I'm happy with it.
It's definitely the best job I ever had so far, so I'm enjoying it, pen testing as well. But yeah, interesting story, and thanks for sharing that. All right, so let's go ahead and get our rapid fire round. So for the new audience members, Jacob will have 30 seconds to answer 5 questions. And if he answers all 5 questions in 30 seconds, he will get a bonus 6 question that's unrelated to cybersecurity. Jacob, are you ready for the rapid fire round?
Born ready.
All right, here we go. Your time will start as soon as I stop asking the first question. Do you think biometrics are secure?
Yes.
Do you think cybersecurity will ever be fully automated?
No.
Are cybersecurity boot camps worth it?
No.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how important is a certification to a cybersecurity career?
7.
Do you think cybersecurity should be the top priority for companies?
Yes.
All right, that is 29 seconds, so you beat the buzzer, so congratulations.
Nice.
Here's a bonus question, totally unrelated to cybersecurity, but it is a hot topic in society that we all have to know. Is water wet?
Oh man, that's like a big philosophical one. I don't even know how to approach that. I mean, I'd say yes, but I'm also dumb, so I'm sure there's a logic to why it's not wet, but I'd say yes. I think it is wet. I've touched water before and it feels wet to me. So that's the only logic that I have for that one.
Yeah, I can see it going both ways. There's definitely a debate there. It's why it's always, a fun debate to bring up. I don't know. I'm kind of with you there. I mean, I go back and forth between the two, but I think, yeah, water is wet. I mean,
I
the
think
haters are going to hate in the comments, I think, but we're
yeah,
going to go with water is wet here.
I think we're both right.
Okay, so I think your most interesting response out of the rapid fire questions is, do you think cybersecurity should be a top priority for companies? And you said yes. And the reason why I'm picking this question is because I actually disagree with you. So I want to talk about that. Let me tell you why I think it's a no. Because I think it's a no because companies, their primary goal is to make money typically, unless you're like a nonprofit or something. But typically their main goal is to make money, and that's their top priority, and I think that will always be their top priority. And I honestly think that like cybersecurity is always going to be an afterthought. And I look at it this way, like for me as like an individual person, you know I have to have car insurance. It's like a good idea to have car insurance, but it's like, I don't, it's not my top priority to get car insurance. You know what I mean? Like there's so many things that I have to do as a person to like keep myself secure and safe. You know, car insurance is one of them, health insurance, but like I don't put, you know, car insurance, health insurance, and all that stuff at like the top of my priority list. You know what I mean? There's tons of other things that I'm worried about day to day. So that's why I don't think, you know, cybersecurity isn't the top, shouldn't be a top priority, and I don't think it ever will be. But feel free to disagree and let me know why you think otherwise.
Yeah, I think that is a really good point. And definitely about the car insurance thing. I live in Texas. A lot of people have that same opinion where they don't have car insurance, just at all. So I could definitely see how people, have that logic as well. I think for companies too, it's also kind of why I hesitated a bit because I was like I know, there's that profit thing. They obviously can't have a company without profit, so that's going to be their top priority. So I came with a very, very biased answer where I'm like, I'm in security. I'm in security. It has to be the most important thing. So for me, it is. So I know for companies, it's not. So I definitely understand that. But for my take is always like, you got to secure it, or else if you don't secure it, then and something happens, you start losing the trust from the customers. At one point, I used to work at Target as a cashier. It was way back whenever that whole Target hack thing happened. And people would
Oh
come in and
wow.
be like, oh, well, I don't want to get my credit card because, it got breached and everything. So even though it's not as important, there is some importance in there. But yeah, I definitely do see how profit would be the number one thing. But for me, in my heart, security is number one.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. Like I'm not saying like cybersecurity is definitely my top priority. It's my job. It's how it's you know, it's my passion. This is, you know, I'm making a whole show about it. So yeah, cybersecurity is definitely my top priority, but you know, I'm not gonna I can understand like if I tell a company, I'm like, hey, here's a list of vulnerabilities and you know, there's some things that are like I would say lower on the priority list. Like if I give a company a bunch of low findings, right, from a pen test, and if they don't patch them, I'm not gonna be like, why didn't you patch these? You know what I mean? Because like because like in theory, like they're very hard to exploit, you know, in practice, and you know they got bigger fish to fry. So, but now if I give a pen test and there's like a critical vulnerability, then I'm gonna be like, all right, you guys need to fix this. You know what I mean? Yeah, my stance is it should it be its priority? Yeah, it should be up there because, like you said, it hurts your reputation. It could. I think the average cyber breach costs like $4 million or something. I don't know if that stats on my head, but it's a couple $1 million or a few $1 million per company, and it could cost you a lot. And if you don't secure your stuff, then it definitely could bite you in the butt, and it could definitely hurt your profit actually if you don't secure it enough.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that too. It should at least not be an afterthought and be in consideration the budgeting because, as you're in consulting too, so you definitely know that it all comes together with the budget, where's the company going to spend the money? So yeah, I can see a middle ground here.